We live our lives governed by rules. Stop at the red light. Don't talk to strangers. Lock your doors at night. These rules make sense. They keep us safe in a logical world. But there are other rules. Rules that defy explanation. Rules found on crumpled notes left by previous tenants, or whispered warnings from employers who refuse to make eye contact. Rules that, if broken, reveal that our reality is not as secure as we think. Tonight, I have 3 terrifying true accounts from people who were given a simple list of instructions and found out the hard way why those rules existed. The first story is from a man named James, who took a job that seemed too good to be true. He writes, "I was desperate for cash when I found an ad on Craigslist looking for a night watchman at an old textile factory, paying $30 an hour. I didn't ask questions. I met the owner, Mr. Henderson, at the site. He was a nervous, sweaty man who seemed in a rush to leave. He gave me a flashlight, a set of keys, and a laminated piece of paper. It's an easy gig," he said, not looking at me. "Do a round every hour. Check the locks, but most importantly, follow the list." He got in his car and sped off before I could even say thanks. I looked at the list. It had 3 rules. Number 1, keep the break room door closed at all times. Number 2, if you hear machinery starting up in the West Wing, do not investigate. Just put on your headphones. And number 3, if you see a man standing near the loading dock wearing a yellow hard hat, turn around, walk away, and count to 10. Do not acknowledge him. I laughed. I thought it was a prank on the new guy. The first few hours were boring. But around 2 a.m., I heard it. A low, rhythmic thumping coming from the West Wing. It sounded like one of the old looms spinning up. I remembered rule number 2, but curiosity got the better of me. I thought maybe squatters had broken in. I walked toward the West Wing. The noise got louder, deafening, like industrial steel crashing together. I reached the double doors, pushed them open, and shined my light. The noise instantly stopped. The room was dead silent. The machines were covered in decades of dust. Nothing had moved. But in the silence, I heard a whisper right in my ear. "You didn't listen." He spun around, swinging my light. Nothing. Freak out. I ran back to the main office. I decided to stay there until morning. I was checking the security monitors to calm my nerves when I saw it. Camera 4. The loading dock. A man was standing there. He was facing away from the camera, wearing a dirty, yellow hard hat. My blood froze. Rule number 3. I watched on the screen, paralyzed. Then, the man on the screen slowly turned around. He didn't have a face. It was just smooth, pale skin. No eyes, no mouth. He raised a hand and pointed, not at the loading dock, but up, at the camera. At me. Then the power cut. I sat in the dark for 4 hours, hearing heavy boots pacing back and forth right outside the office door, trying the handle every few minutes. When the sun came up, I ran to my car and never went back. Mr. Henderson didn't even answer my call when I quit. I kept the laminated list. Sometimes I look at it, and I noticed there was a rule number 4 on the back that I missed that night. It says, if the power goes out, he is already in the room with you. The next story comes from a college student named Sarah, who started house-sitting for a wealthy family in the hills. It's a reminder that sometimes the rules aren't for the house. They are for the things living inside it. She writes, "The Miller family was nice, if a little intense. They were going to Europe for 2 weeks and needed someone to watch their mansion. The pay was incredible. Mrs. Miller walked me through the house, showing me the alarm system, the pool, the high-end kitchen. Before they left, she handed me a handwritten note. Just a few quirks of the house," she said with a tight smile. "Please follow them strictly." I looked at the note after they left. 1. Feed the cats at 6 p.m. sharp. 2. Keep the basement door bolted. 3. Between the hours of 3 a.m. and 3:15 a.m., do not look out the backyard sliding glass doors. If you are in the living room, close the curtains before you go to bed. I thought the last one was weird. Maybe they had creepy neighbors. The first week was fine. I followed the rules, but on the second Friday, I had a friend over. We stayed up late watching movies. My friend left around 2:45 a.m. I was cleaning up the living room, collecting popcorn bowls. I realized I had forgotten to close the heavy curtains over the massive glass doors that looked out into the dark backyard. I looked at the clock on the microwave, 3:02 a.m. I remembered the rule. I felt a little silly, but I walked over to close them. It was pitch black outside. As I reached for the curtain cord, I instinctively looked out into the yard. The motion sensor light by the pool suddenly flickered on, and I saw why the rule existed. Standing in the middle of the yard, facing the glass, were people. Dozens of them. They were all naked, incredibly pale, and they were standing perfectly still, their arms hanging loosely by their sides. They were all staring directly at me. Their mouths were open in silent, impossible wide screams. I froze, my hand on the curtain. Then, in perfect unison, they all took one step forward. Thud, I screamed, yanked the curtains shut, and backed away. I locked myself in the upstairs bathroom until morning. When I looked out the window in the daylight, the yard was empty, but all over the glass of the sliding doors, out on the outside, were hundreds of greasy handprints and smudges, as if they had been pressing against the glass all night, trying to get in. When the Millers returned, I didn't say anything. I just took my check. But as I was leaving, Mrs. Miller grabbed my arm. She looked at my pale face, then at the smudged glass doors. She whispered, "You looked, didn't you?" I didn't answer. She just let go and said, "You're lucky. Usually, they don't stop at the glass." Our final story is perhaps the most unsettling because it involves a rule that many of us might be tempted to break. It comes from a long-haul trucker named Day. He writes, "Truckers have their own legends, their own unwritten rules. But this happened on a stretch of Route 66 in Arizona, a dead zone where the radio turns to static and the cell service dies. I was at a diner a few hours back, and an old-timer warned me, 'If you're driving the Devil's Stretch past midnight,' he said, 'and you see a child seat in the middle of the road, do not stop. Drive around it. Don't look in your mirror.'" I nodded, thinking he was just spinning a yarn. 3 hours later, I'm on that exact stretch. It's 2 a.m. I'm exhausted, running on coffee and fumes. My headlights cut through the darkness. Suddenly, I see something ahead in the middle of my lane. I slam on the brakes, my rig screeching to a halt about 20 feet away. It was a baby car seat. It was sitting perfectly upright on the yellow line, and it was facing away from me. My first instinct, my human instinct, was to jump out and check. What if there was a baby in there? I put the truck in neutral and reached for the door handle. Then, the old man's voice popped into my head. "Do not stop." I hesitated. The car seat was motionless. No crying. No movement. A cold feeling washed over me. A feeling of being hunted. I put the truck back in gear. "Sorry," I whispered. I swerved into the left lane to go around it. As my cab passed the car seat, I looked down through my side window. The seat was empty. But it wasn't just empty. The inside of it was hollowed out, rotting, and filled with sharp, jagged rocks. And then, as I passed, I saw something in the ditch on the side of the road. Movement. I hit the gas. I accelerated, my heart pounding. I remembered the second part of the rule. Don't look in your mirror. I stared straight ahead. But the curiosity had ate at you. After about a mile, I couldn't help it. I glanced up at my side mirror. My blood turned to ice. Keeping pace with my truck, running on all fours like a spider, was a figure. It had long, tangled limbs, and it was moving at 60 miles an hour, right beside my trailer wheels. It was grinning. I slammed the pedal to the floor. The engine roared. I didn't look back again until I saw the lights of a gas station 20 miles later. I pulled in, shaking. I checked my truck. The side of the trailer, the metal side, it was slashed. 3 long, deep claw marks, tearing through the steel like it was paper. If I'd gotten out of the truck to check that car seat, I wouldn't be writing this today.